Well, hello. Michael here, looking at Psalm 68 for our devotion today. A psalm which may be subtitled, God Scatters His Enemies. And we're focusing on verse 22 through to 25 for the exposition, as penned by Charles Spurgeon. Let's go ahead and read those, 4 verses? Verse 22. The Lord said, I will bring again from Bashan. I will bring my people again from the depths of the sea. Verse 23. That thy foot may be dipped in the blood of thine enemies, and the tongue of thy dogs in the same. And verse 24. They have seen the goings, O God, even the goings of my God, my King, in the sanctuary. And verse 25 reads, The singers went before, the players on instruments followed after. Among them were the damsels playing with the timbrels. And so we look to the treasure of David for the exposition. Verse 22. This verse, by the insertion of the words, my people, is made to bear the meaning which the translator thought best. But if their interpolated word is omitted, we probably get nearer to the sense. The Lord said, I will bring again from Bashan, I will bring again from the depths of the sea. Though his foes should endeavor to escape, they should not be able. Amos describes the Lord as saying, Though they dig into hell, thence shall mine hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. And though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel, I will search and take them out thence. And though they hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence will I command the serpent, and he shall bite them. As there is no resisting Israel's God, so is there no escape from him. Neither the heights of Bashan nor the depths of the great sea can shelter from his eye of detection and his hand of justice. The power of evil may flee to the utmost ends of the earth, but the Lord will arrest them and lead them back in chains to adorn his triumph. And verse 23, that thy foot may be dipped in the blood of thine enemies, and the tongue of thy dogs in the same. Spurgeon pens from the exposition. That thy foot may be dipped in the blood of thine enemies. Vengeance shall be awarded to the oppressed people, and that most complete and terrible, and the tongue of thy dogs in the same. So overwhelming should be the defeat of the foe that dogs should lick their blood. Here, the stern joy which warriors feel expresses itself in language most natural to the Oriental ear. To us, except in a spiritual sense, the verse sounds harshly, but read it with inner sense, and we also desire the utter and crushing defeat of all evil, and that wrong and sin may be the objects of profound contempt. Terrible is the God of Israel when he cometh forth as a man of war, and dreadful is even the Christ of God when he bears his arm to smite his enemies. Contemplate Revelation 19 and note the following. And I saw heaven opened, and behold a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written, that no man knew but he himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, Come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great God, that ye may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses, and of that sit upon them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great. And I saw the beast, and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse, and against his army. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone. And a remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh. And verse 24 that reads, They have seen thy goings, O God, even the goings of my God, my King, in the sanctuary. They have seen thy goings, O God. In the song, the marchings of the Lord had been described. Friends and foes had seen his going forth with the ark and his people. We suppose that the procession was now climbing the hill and entering the enclosure where the tabernacle of the ark was pitched. It was suitable at this moment to declare with song that the tribes had seen the glorious progress of the Lord as he led forth his people, even the goings of my God, my King, in the sanctuary. The splendid procession of the ark, which symbolized the throne of the great King, was before the eyes of men and angels as it ascended to the holy place. And the psalmist points to it with exultation before he proceeds to describe it. All nature and providence are, as it were, a procession attending the great Lord in his visitations of his lower globe. Winter and summer, sun and moon, storm and calm, and all the varied glories of nature swell the pomp of the King of Kings, of whose dominion there is no end. And verse 25 that reads, The singers went before, the players on instruments followed after. Among them were the damsels playing with timbrels. And the exposition reads, The singers went before, the players on instruments followed after. This was the order of the march, and God is to be worshipped evermore with due decorum. First the singers, and lastly the musicians, for the song must lead the music, and not the music drown the singing. In the midst of the vocal and instrumental band, or all around them, were the maidens. Among them were the damsels playing with timbrels. Some have imagined that this order indicates the superiority of vocal to instrumental music. But we need not go so far for arguments, when the simplicity and spirituality of the gospel already teaches us that truth. The procession depicted in this sublime song was one of joy, and every means was taken to express the delight of the nations in the Lord their God. Oh, great is our God. Great is our God. Nothing can really stand before his awesome power and mandates. Trust you enjoyed the meditation. Michael here declaring yet again, Jesus is Lord.